What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbin, coming to you on a Monday evening to be exact. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their day so far. Been the start of the work week. Like I said, that means it's the start to make money. Hopefully everybody's capitalizing on all the opportunities that you've got brought into you. But like I always kick off every show saying, if you ever wanted a central location where you can find all Brendan Abbin content, you can find that at my new website, BrendanAbbin.com, which has episodes of the podcast, my blog, and other content you can only find on BrendanAbbin.com. So make sure you go check it out. And also follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports Podcast on Rival TV, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. That way you'll receive notifications whenever the KBR Sports Podcast is streaming live or when a new episode is posted. Also, follow the KBR Sports Podcast on Twitter at KBR_sports, where links, topics, and podcast updates are tweeted. And finally, make sure you comment, like, and share your favorite KBR Sports episodes to give your opinions on any topic and to show your support for the show, which is always appreciated. So, like I was saying, hopefully everybody's had a great start to the work week, getting into the nick of things and kicking things off the right way, because I know a lot of times Mondays can heavily dictate how the rest of our week goes. So, hopefully everybody's week is being started off the right way. I know that we had a big eventful past week. Honestly, from Thursday on into the weekend, we had the NFL draft. Then you have the NBA playoffs, in which you have a lot of series that got decided over the weekend, with like the Celtics defeating the Bucks in a Game 7. You had the Cavaliers beating the Indiana Pacers in a Game 7, and then you had the Thunder falling to the Thunder falling to the Utah Jazz in what was a pivotal series, in which now a lot of people are questioning what Paul George will end up doing moving forward. So there's a lot of big news that came out of the NBA weekend and the NFL weekend, even in the NHL, where you see there were some series tied up where the Capitals tied up the series with the Pittsburgh Penguins. You see that the series between the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks is tied up 1-1. So there's a lot of sports going on right now at one time. So there's a lot to watch right now on television. Half the time I feel like I can't watch it all, but for me to get things kicked off, y'all, let me start with this. So has anyone ever heard the saying, too much of anything is a bad thing? This is a phrase that can be applied to the current construct of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers have had a heavy dependency on LeBron James all season, and it was most evident in their first round series against the Indiana Pacers. The Cavaliers just closed a taxing series against the Indiana Pacers that went 7 games. Even in the post-game presser, LeBron James said, "I'm burnt right now. I'm not thinking about Toronto right now until tomorrow. I'm ready to go home." And LeBron has a reason to be worn out. He averaged 40.8 minutes throughout the series. That leads the entire Eastern Conference. And mind you, everybody, LeBron is the oldest guy in terms of seasons played and whatnot and minutes racked up. So right now, even though he's 33, he's probably played the most minutes of any active player at the moment that was playing within this series. So, and especially with the burden LeBron has on his back, you can only imagine how much that amounts to, how much physical output he's actually putting out on the court. So now combine that with the fact that he led the team in points, assists, and rebounds. This series had to have taken its pound of flesh out of LeBron. He originally planned to play all 48 minutes in Game 7 in the Game 7 slugfest, but he had to sit out for a part of the game due to cramps. The Cavs may be the team to advance in this series, but the current formula is not one that's destined for long-term success. LeBron's body has taken on a heavy toll all season. It's only continuing in the postseason. He's played a total of 3,314 minutes this year, including all 82 regular season games. While LeBron may appear to be invincible, everyone has a breaking point. A number of superstars in recent memory have endured season-ending injuries, which may correlate to their increase in usage and minutes played. Two of the most notable names in recent memory are Kobe Bryant and DeMarcus Cousins, both who suffered Achilles injuries. Kobe Bryant, remember that 2014 playoff run they made when it was him, Dwight Howard Powell, and the rest of the crew, and they went on that late season push to make the playoffs, and Kobe ended up tearing his Achilles in the game against the Golden State Warriors, but he was playing an astronomical amount of minutes, and the amount of work toll he had on him was just so immense that you saw eventually his body just gave out and the Achilles couldn't manage it anymore. Same thing with DeMarcus Cousins. The Pelicans were playing him at such a high amount, and he was being used so much, And especially at his 7-foot frame and big body, you can only imagine what those kind of miles were doing to his body, and eventually his Achilles gave out. And when it comes to LeBron, while LeBron may be Superman, his kryptonite could end up being his own individual greatness. He's so great that the Cavs essentially need him on the court at all times to win basketball games. However, it is a formula that takes a ton but gives very little. The rest of the roster has to come to LeBron's aid as the competition gets stiffer, because even Superman needed help. It was called the Justice League. All right, everybody, that's it for tonight's episode of the KBR Sports Podcast. If you ever wanted a central location where you can find all Brendan Abbott content, you can find that at my new website, brendanabbott.com, which has episodes of the podcast, my blog, and other content you can only find on brendanabbott.com. So make sure you go check it out. And also, follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports Podcast on Rabble TV, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. That way you will receive notifications whenever the KBR Sports Podcast is streaming live or when a new episode is posted. Also, follow the KBR Sports Podcast on Twitter at KBR_sports, where links, topics, and podcast updates are tweeted. Finally, make sure you comment, like, share your favorite KBR Sports episodes to give your opinions on any KBR Sports topic and to show your support for the show, which is always appreciated. Normally, I close out the show. Well, normally when I did it with Nigel, we would close out the show for inspirational quote. But I'm honestly just going to close it out with saying, comment, give me your comments, y'all. I want to hear what you all have to say about what do you think LeBron's workload is too heavy? Do you think that it's getting overplayed, the narrative that he does have too much of a heavy workload, since he did essentially do this at one point early in his career, the first stint in Cleveland? Do you think that it's getting overplayed since he has a all-star in Kevin Love beside him? Or do you think that the Cavs do need another guy to pair with LeBron, that he does need more help? Because at this point, the Cavs team just looks abysmal. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that in the comment section, so that way we can actually have a discussion about it. I feel like it's always cool when I get to hear what you all think on these type of matters, whether it's hyperbolized or whether it's been under exaggerated sort of thing. So definitely let me hear that from you all. But until then, everybody have a great night. I'm out.